So today I want to talk about Seer. Seer came into the late game in Season 10 and he was an absolute monster when he got released. He was doing damage, doing everything. He was literally had every ability in the game almost. He could scan. He was used so heavily, it was ridiculous. Every team had a Seer on. He got heavily nerfed, I think it was towards the end of Season 10. And his pick rate went flying down. It's at like 2% at the moment, but I can see this going a lot higher next season for a few reasons, and I want to go over a few today. Number one is, the end of this season has been an uprise of Seers. Now, on like the websites that tell you the pick rates, they don't actually seem to be going up yet, but when you just play, you can tell there's a lot more Seers around. I don't know if that's just me. I used Seer for like 3 hours earlier to get a bit of gameplay for this video, and I actually seen a fair few Seers playing at the same time. Now, I'm not sure if that's just one of them things that I just see more of today because I'm lucky, but I think that his pick rate's going to be flying up a bit next season. Another reason for this is number 3 Predator on PC is called His Watson, has been using Seer pretty much all season, and he's a big advocate of saying that Seer is actually better for Bloodhound if you're a better player. Bloodhound's better for the worst players, the ones that aren't so, I guess, smart at using Seer. But Seer's abilities all round are actually stronger than Bloodhound's, and remember he can also like scan rings, and I can see him actually going into the meta. By meta, I mean he could be like in most ranked teams and even go into the competitive scene maybe. And there's a few reasons for this. It's just because of the sheer amount of abilities he really has. He can literally scan rings. He's like the same tier as Valk is in my opinion in terms of how much he can do. Because Valk can obviously fly, scan rings, take off, be like a jump tower. She has like an ability that damages people. Seer is missing that, but he did used to have that. And he used to do 10 damage I think his Q did, but they just took that off. So his Q at the moment actually, it silences people for like a second I think it is. It cancels anything that's ongoing if you get hit by it, so if you're mid-bat or you're mid-phoenix, it will cancel that. If you're mid-lifeline resed, or in the new kind of scene, we're going to have Newcastle resing a lot. Now this kind of comes into, and also Gibby bubbles. It doesn't cancel the bubble, but it cancels the res inside the bubble. Now a lot of people will be able to get easy resets just because they can easily do that in a bubble. Imagine if Seer like resets you halfway through all of your team healing. Like it's a big bubble fight and the Seer Q's that bubble in comp, and you literally just stop healing and you all have 1 health and you just can't reset. That is why he is so powerful. He isn't used at all. I don't think I've ever seen a Seer be used in a competitive game. Maybe he has been in scrims, I'm not too sure. But the abilities he has are just really underrated in my opinion. I said this about Valk before she became in the meta. No, I haven't said that on here, but I said it to my friends a lot. But yeah, no proof of that. But I genuinely think that Seer is slept on heavily. He's very, very good. You obviously need the movement in the team to like make it work well, but his ult is so good, and his Q is quite underrated as well. Sometimes it's a bit difficult to hit people because it's like a warning before it comes, but they might be, and they could buff that or something, I have no idea. But it used to be faster, so you couldn't actually get out of the way of it, which kind of makes more sense in my opinion. Like Bloodhound scan you can't get out of the way of before he does it, so I don't really know why you can with Seers. But still, I honestly think that Seer could go up in the meta, because I honestly think next season he will. And yeah, he has so many abilities, and as I was saying, he can also scan the rings. Now, I know there's quite a few legends that could do this now, but he's just a better Bloodhound in my opinion. That's what he comes down to. He's not as aggressive, but you can be as aggressive as you want with him. His ult just makes fights so easy. The only bad thing about his ult is that it's really easy to third party. But you can see them coming quite often in this. It's just really difficult to counter, to be honest. If you see a Seer ult, you don't want to be in it, and a lot of the time you can die because you don't want to be in there, and you're trying to get away from there. Like this guy in the building on the gameplay here, he literally just has nowhere to go. I know like he was going to probably die here anyway because my duo guy is doing damage to him and he was just running around, but you can just see he's like straight panicking and just shot the thing, wasted the whole clip killing it, and then we know where he is anyway and we just kill him. But and also another thing is not a lot of people come up against Seers. It's very difficult to know how to play against legends if you don't know, if you don't see them a lot. Like Wraiths, you know what's going to happen most of the time. They're going to do some damage, they're probably going to Q, run away and reset, whatever. But when you see a Seer, it's kind of confusing to what they're going to do. You don't often see them, as I said, like 2% of the player base actually use Seer. So, in my opinion, I think next season his pick rate will be flying up. I think it'll be like the midway through. I don't think it'll be like a top tier legend, but I think in the higher ranks and things like that, he will be picked a lot more heavily than he is now. And it'll be pretty interesting to see. If you do want to see some Seer gameplay, I don't really play much Seer, to be honest. I might have 1,000 kills of him, not yet. I do really genuinely enjoy playing him, and I'm sure a lot of other people do. I actually had a quick look on the Apex tracker website where you can see who's got the most kills of who in what season. And for season 12, there's a guy called, let me have a quick look actually, I'll get it up on the screen here. He's called Forget That, and he's also on Xbox like I am. And he's got 18,000 kills this season with Seer, and I think he also had, he had 20,000 last season with Seer. So yeah, quite a Seer advocate there. It looks like he's had 2 seasons straight on Seer, and he's got like 40k. He's probably the #1 Seer in the world. But I just wanted to see if there's any grinders out there. There's not as many as there are like race players and things like that. Obviously there's people that have higher kills than 18k. But yeah, it's still pretty insane that someone's got almost 20,000 kills this season with Seer. It's just one of them things you don't often see as Seer, do you? So what I mentioned earlier was that his Watson, the number 3 Predator, has primarily been playing Seer this season. As you can see on the screen there, most of the games he plays are with Seer. I'm not sure if he does play other legends as well, because obviously he has like 70,000 RP, and I think playing Seer all the time might get a bit boring. I don't blame him. But I also wanted to put this little clip of the man himself, Asu, in this in here. So let's watch this clip a minute.
Seer's good in the current meta. I mean, I think Seer's good because it's a third-party meta. That's the meta. It's a third-party meta. And being able to stop the res with your Q. I mean, obviously having wall hacks is always good. But being able to stop meds and reses with your Q and your third-party sim is huge. Also, your ult is pretty good for preventing third parties because you can kind of tell where they're at.
So as you hear there, that's Asu saying that. Obviously, he's playing with someone that's playing Seer. He doesn't play Seer himself. But what I'm trying to say is there's a lot of people playing Seer. And what I actually just found out as well is that someone did actually play in the recent LGS, like a couple games as Seer, but they didn't do very well. But I'm just saying, someone did try and play him. But yeah, Petty Boss has been playing him a little bit, who did try out with some pro teams. I'm not sure if he's still on one. As I said, his Watson, number 3 Predator, has been constantly grinding him. And obviously there's a place for this guy somewhere in the meta, and I think next season we'll be seeing a bit more of this. He's good fun to play. I recommend going and try him out if you haven't already. You've kind of got to play, what I will say is a few tips on him. Save his Q for when you actually need it. You don't need information. As soon as you walk up to a team, you don't always need the information on them. It's better to get it halfway through, so you know who's cracked and where people are. And his ult is literally useful all the time. Whenever you're in a fight, just try and check it down, but make sure it's somewhere in cover, because it can get, I think it has 100 health, and it can get shot down pretty damn quickly. But overall, it is a really, really nice. His kit all round is actually quite fun, and I feel like there's, although it's like a wall hack kind of deal, and you can see through walls also with his abilities, he's still pretty fun to play. I find him more fun to play than Bloodhound. I know a lot of people do like maining Bloodhound, and a lot of people play Bloodhound over Seer. His pick rate is way higher, but I think Seer will change it around a lot next season, and I'll wait and see if that is true or not. But what do you think of Seer, guys? I know not a lot of people play him. I recommend going and try him out if you haven't already, because he's genuinely quite fun. He has a lot of different things you can do with him. You can scan. There's a lot of stuff you can do. So I recommend trying him out if you haven't already. Also, he has a few cool skins. My badge, my banner and my frame and everything look pretty cool on Seer. I'll put it in the background here because it's quite a nice one. I put a few things together, and yeah, it's quite a nice little ring to it with all the red stuff. But overall, I recommend going and try Seer out, guys. I'll see, maybe I'll do like a follow-up to this video to see if he actually got anywhere in Season 13 meta. I hope he does, but, you know, we'll see about that. But cheers, guys. Thanks for watching, and peace out for now.